Hi, everybody. I'm Renlopa, and welcome to another episode of the Successful Hairstylist podcast. Today, we are doing something a little bit different. I have created slides for you to follow along with me this week as we dive into finding the perfect color to go with your client's skin undertone. I think this training is going to be a game changer for your consultations and for really building that loyalty with your clients. I talk about customizing color a lot, but I've never actually talked about this and shared this outside of Luxury Client Method. So I'm really excited to dive in, and I'm going to try to stay on time and do it really quick. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Renlopa, the CEO and founder of the Successful Hairstylist podcast and community, and I'm happy you're here. Let's dive in. Okay, so today we're talking about the 2-minute undertone method, how to instantly choose the right hair color for your clients. So what I don't want to do today is give you a ton more work that actually makes your consultation longer and makes you feel super stressed out. I want to give you something very practical that can be done and communicated quickly to help your clients get on the same page, okay? But let's go ahead and start with some of the common mistakes that stylists make when choosing the hair color for their client, okay? And as someone who has been miscolor typed my entire life, I can show you some examples and I can definitely speak from personal experience, okay? So, why you might be guessing wrong and not even know it. Here are some of the biggest mistakes. If someone has freckles, then they should have copper red hair. If someone has bright blue eyes, then they should have copper red hair. If someone has pale skin, then they should have copper red hair. Can you sense my trauma in those? Then darker skin has no undertone. Not true. I'm going to help you guys figure that out. And then when you're saying, well, whatever my client asks for is what I give them. Again, this is a common mistake, okay? And we're going to go through why that is and what happens. And then the last common mistake when you're coloring your client's hair is that it's the assumption that their natural hair or the hair color they had as a baby must be the naturally best hair color for them, okay? When you stop guessing and start assessing, your results and referrals go way up, okay? I know that sometimes, or how it used to be when I first got into the industry in 2009, was that it's like if you could nail the picture that your client showed you, you were in pretty good shape, okay? That meant that you were probably gonna go pretty far in the industry, but that is not how it is anymore. It's not about replicating a photo. It is about customizing that photo to your client so that they're walking out super, super happy. So now let's talk about why do undertones matter? Okay. And the bottom line here is complementary undertones create an effortless glow. All right. I want you guys to think about your closet, okay, or the last time you went shopping and that experience of buying a piece. Maybe it is the latest trending color. Maybe it is just a piece that you instantly saw and fell in love with. And when you put it on, maybe in the fitting room, you were like, you know what? I love it. This is perfect. You get home, and every time you pull it out of your closet and try to wear it, what happens? You're like, I can't put my finger on it, but I hate it, right? Like you put it on, you want to like it so much, but you just don't feel good in it and you have no idea why. So chances are it is not the complementary color for your skin undertone. So what happens when we don't have undertones that complement us is that our skin looks washed out. Okay, we feel like we have to put on more makeup, more blush. Like, again, we can't really put our finger on what's going on or why we're feeling like that, but these are the results, right? We feel like we're just having an ugly day, okay? Like, I'm serious, this is what happens. But with the complementary undertones to our skin undertone, our skin is going to look brighter and healthier even without makeup. We can actually wear less makeup. honestly, we'll know which color makeup to wear, right? Like what lipsticks, what eyeshadows, what blushes to wear. We'll know what clothes to buy. So we're actually spending money on clothes that we're going to really like, whether they are trending or not. And then we're just naturally going to feel more beautiful. And your clients are going to have all of these benefits. They're going to trust you more, they're going to rebook, and they're going to refer more people. So if you've ever had that client where after you color their hair, they're like, I don't know what you did or how you made this different, but this is the best color I've ever had, chances are you nailed that undertone relationship. Okay, so you might be wondering, but Ren, how do I figure this out? So I'm going to give you 3 ways to find out someone's undertone in 2 minutes or less, okay? Actually, I think there's 4 ways. So the first way, and I hope you guys are going to be doing this on yourself as we go through. So if you've never done this before, hopefully you have some discoveries during this that then you can share with your clients. But the first test we're going to do is the wrist test. Okay, so you're just going to look at your wrist. And if this is with a client, you would just say, okay, here, like hold out your wrist and let me take a look, right? That's not awkward. It's not intrusive. It's like very simple. You don't even have to touch them. Okay. And then I want you to look at their veins. So I know that my camera is smaller on this episode, but I'm going to hold my veins up to the camera. And maybe you can see, maybe you can't, but my veins are very blue/purple. Okay? Blue/purple. So this means I am cool tones. Now we're going to cross check and double check. We want to have a couple indicators throughout these tests in order to confirm. But right now I'm in the cool territory because I have blue purple veins. Okay. So how this goes is if you have green veins, you are going to be warm tone. And if you have blue or purple, you're cool tone. Okay. You can also look at their eye color. Okay, so 2 eye colors can tell you immediately what someone's undertone is. All right, so blue eyes are going to be cool undertones, and green eyes are going to be warm undertones. Okay, if someone has brown eyes or hazel eyes, we are not going to use the eyes as a way to confirm their skin undertone. We want to look for different things here. Okay. Now, the third way that you can do this is you can ask your client if they burn or tan in the sun. Okay, so burning in the sun is going to be a cool undertone. All right, so a lot of the pale girlies out there who stay pale, even in Florida, like me, or even over the summer in their summer vacations, they're cool skin tone. The girlies who can get tan, who get darker in the summer or vacation, they are warm skin tones. Okay, so you can see this visual here. These visuals came from a blog that I was putting together when I was behind the chair. I would run all of these tests on myself as examples for my clients, okay? But the fourth test here is going to be the jewelry test. If gold looks best, then you are a warm skin tone. If silver looks best, you are a cool skin tone. Now, the truth is that when you look at this photo of me at the top photo with the gold and the silver, gold literally makes my skin look green and like sick, okay? Where the silver color, I have like a healthy little glow to my face, all right? Even though gold jewelry isn't my best jewelry, I'm going to wear gold jewelry. Okay. Like, we don't discover these things to box ourselves in. Like, I still like gold jewelry. I don't really care. I'm going to wear it. But you guys can see in here, I'm not going to wear a gold sweater. Okay. Or I shouldn't. And I should really look for more cool toned things. Then, if you guys look here at the bottom with the red and then the more like a raspberry red, the orange red, again, I look a little sick. I look a little green and like my skin, I feel like you can see every flaw, every bag under my eye, like every wrinkle, every sunspot. But with the raspberry color, my skin looks more porcelain. Okay, it just looks more like fresh. It looks clear. All these photos were literally taken within seconds of each other, and I was totally shocked the first time that I did this. So, the general rule, so once you find someone's undertone, and just to touch on one more thing, if you have darker skin tones sitting in your chair, what you really want to look for are yellow undertones or more purple undertones. Okay, so you can usually see this in general, and even asking them, like, do you think you're a more gold undertone or more purple undertone? And you can really tell a lot by that. So if they are yellow or gold undertones with their darker skin, that is going to be warm. And then more purple undertones are going to be cool. Okay, so that's how you can look for that. But you're still going to go through these questions. Do you tan? Do you burn? What jewelry do you like the best? So the general rule of thumb is this: to create softness. Okay, so if you want a hair color that will make you glow, or a wardrobe that makes you glow, makeup that makes you glow, you want to match the undertones. So if you're cool, you need cool tones. If you're warm, you need warm tones. Okay, now if you want to create edginess and contrast and amp it up in that way that's like a little bit strange but interesting, then you could do the opposites, right? Warm with cool and cool with warm. But overall, that's kind of the fundamental vibe, is we want to match them. So if you think back to those common mistakes that I was talking about in the beginning, people would look at me, hairstylists who had been in the industry 20 plus years, who were educators, etc. They would see freckles and they would see blue eyes and they would go red hair. Okay. And and like copper red hair, like the brightest copper you could possibly get. And I'm telling you, it was the ugliest I looked like my entire life. Like, I obviously am still holding a grudge because I can't get over it, especially once I learned about undertones. I'm like, there were so many signs that I was cool, and you missed all of them, but that's okay. Now I know we're here now. So what I want to do is I want to walk through a few color palettes with you guys, because here's the cool thing about knowing someone's undertone. You can give them whatever color they want in their undertone, right? So if you have a client that comes in that wants to be red, if they're cool, you can steer them into more of the raspberries and the wines, right? Where if they're warm, you can steer them into the traditional reds, the coppers, like those beautiful auburns and everything like that, right? Like, what I loved learning about the undertones is that there is a perfect, like, everyone can be every color. It's just the right tone of the color, right? So that was reds. This is with blondes. Now, with blondes, it is more limiting because we know we can only get platinum or gray blondes once the hair has been completely lifted past yellow, okay? So you are more boxed in if you have a cool tone client really wanting to be blonde. Chances are they're not going to get there, and they're just going to have to accept that they're going to need to wear more makeup, or they're just going to have to embrace that, like, they'll be a little washed out, and that's okay, right? So for warm blondes, we have, orange blondes, we have yellow blondes, we have gold. Essentially every blonde except for platinum is going to be warm, and then the cool blondes are going to be platinum and gray. The teddy bear blonde, where it's like a level 7, you could kind of get some ashiness in there, but I don't think they'll really like it. So, but that could also be considered. When we look at brunettes, we are going to see, the rich, warm brunettes are all going to be warm. We have auburn, we have orange, we have yellow inside of those warm brunettes, where the cool brunettes are going to be gray, green, and blue, okay? And a lot of natural brunettes, with the sun exposure, it's naturally going to release red undertones. So a lot of times when brunettes want to be cool, we either need to like full highlight and then tint them down with no red in it, or we need to have them in frequently for glosses so that we can use our greens, use our blues, and really ash out those undertones that the sun is exposing. And then in the vivid world, we have the same thing. So if someone comes in and says, I want to be green, if they're cool, you're going to give them a teal green, okay? If they're warm, you're going to give them like any other shade of green. If they want, you can see here they can have the cool tones are going to be teal, blue, purples, and pinks, and the warm tones are going to be those beautiful, freaking gorgeous, like corals, coppers, greens, bright reds, like everything like that. Absolutely stunning. And so if someone comes in and says, I want a vivid color, once you find their undertone, you can really help them pick a palette that, even though they're a wild, crazy color, it is still going to complement their face. Like, how empowering is that? Okay, and then when I have done my colors and realized that I am cool, and I did my tint back on my hair just a couple weeks ago, I pulled up these pictures just to show you guys the difference. And here's the thing, sometimes I want to be blonde. I feel like my aura is blonde sometimes, like I just need to be blonde, and I accept that my skin is going to look completely different as a blonde than as a brunette. So as you guys can see, the two center pictures in particular are taken like within 5 days apart. And you can see when I have the golden tones in my hair, my skin looks way different. It looks kind of pink. It looks kind of red. I feel like you can kind of see every little spot, age spot, like wrinkle, everything on my skin, where after I went dark and now I'm wearing my color palette, my skin, to me, it feels porcelain. I feel like I can get away with wearing way less makeup. And I've actually gotten compliments just this past weekend after changing my hair on how great and glowing my skin looks, even though I'm kind of in the middle of like a little breakout. Okay. So having the right color can just completely change how your skin looks. And so talking to our clients about this is really important because, again, especially if you have clients that are more low maintenance, that don't wear a lot of makeup, that are on the more natural side, we want to steer them towards things that are going to complement them. So, in conversation with them, what we want to do is we want to use words like these words I've been saying, like, okay, we could do copper red, but this raspberry red is actually going to allow you to wear less makeup, or do this. Or on the other side, if they are committed to a color that is in contrast with them, so they're cool and they want warm, really just letting them know, okay, great, like I can totally give that to you because it's not in your undertone palette. Can you commit to wearing more makeup? Can you understand that your skin is really going to show up in a different way? And like, do you accept that? I think having this as a way to communicate about color totally levels the playing field, where your clients are just going to appreciate the honesty. Even if they go with something that we don't think is the best for them, they know what they're getting into. But I feel like 9 times out of 10, if you tell that to someone, they're going to be like, of course I want to look better without makeup on. Like, of course I want something that's going to compliment me. And they're going to go with your suggestions, which, because we're using this fundamental color theory, we can be confident that they're going to feel amazing after their appointment. Okay, so I want to end this training with some tips for you guys for your studios. Okay, so little tweaks that can make a big difference as you're typing your clients or you're talking to them about color are going to be neutral capes to drape or test colors. So a couple different colors you could have as little drapes would be a stark white and then a cream. So a cool toned person is going to look better in stark white than they are in a cream tone. Similar with black and brown. A cool tone person is going to look better in black than they are in a dark brown. It's also important to use some neutral decor or wall colors in your suite, especially the wall that's behind the mirror. Okay, so like if you want to do a bold color, if you want to do some really fun wallpaper, in my opinion, it would be best to add those accent walls either behind your mirror or on the walls kind of to either side of the mirror. The wall right behind the mirror, where your client is sitting in the chair looking in the mirror, that wall should absolutely remain super neutral so that they can really get an accurate view of what they look like, right? Like the color behind them is not going to be tainting their view of their blonde or their red. And then lastly, we want to choose light bulbs that mimic daylight. So this can be halogen or higher Kelvin bulbs. So I've put in a little picture here, but there are so many different light bulbs that give off different lights. And when you read blogs on like interior design, they recommend different lights for different rooms of your house, right? So they're like in the kitchen, you need this, in your bedroom, you need this, in your bathroom. We really want to mimic natural light or have something that is like as neutral or cool leaning as possible so that our blondes, like if you think about getting that platinum blonde perfect, if you have warm lights in your studio, it is never going to look like it's platinum. Okay, you're going to have gold reflex and everything. So you want to make sure that you're choosing your light bulbs carefully. So that's what this little chart is on here. And then we talked about, taking great photos a couple episodes ago. And one of the things that I wanted to say too is like when you're taking photos, I highly recommend turning off the overhead lighting and just having your ring light as the source of light on your client. I think it's really going to help you see the tone and the color more accurately. And then also when you show your client, they get to see the tone more accurately as well. But the biggest takeaways for today are just everyone can have every color and have it complement them when we know about undertones. And I hope that you see how easy and how fast it is to do a quick undertone analysis and really nail the color choice for your clients. Plus, if you are giving them that added benefit of saying, look, your warm tones, so when you buy clothes, when you buy makeup, go for warm tones, go for a coral blush, go for those orange red lipsticks. Like, I'm so jealous. I want to wear those and it doesn't suit me, but it's just a really great way to add extra value to your clients and help them better understand themselves so that they can feel freaking beautiful and then refer everyone to them. I swear this is going to increase the loyalty so, so much. All right, if you want to know how to use this information to get more clients, watch this video next, and I will see you all next week. Bye.